Okay, seem to be missing one person this evening. So what I'm going to do is start the meeting, give you the information regarding a reduced number of.
A question, if he shows up once they've started, is he allowed to participate?
As long as we haven't hit anything material, I don't have a problem with him, and, I think that's the case, But I'll give him the option to, recuse himself if he wants. Okay, welcome to the April 7th.
Oh, there he is.
Heard that there he is.
Did you park in Portchester tonight?
I actually didn't. I got an Uber here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the April 7th, 2026 meeting of the Rybrook Zoning Board of Appeals. We now have a full complement of the board. With us also is Building Inspector Steve Hughes, Village Attorney Christian Gates, Board of Trustees Liaison David Heiser. If you're going to be making a presentation this evening, please come to the podium, state your name, the address, nature of the variance, and your relationship to the applicant if you are not the applicant, him or herself. Our first meeting, our first application this evening is ZBA 26004. Eva Wallace, 3 Crossway, 2-story addition, second floor addition, new front porch, wood deck, site work, and interior alterations.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and the board members. My name is Justin Manieri. I'm the architect for 3 Crossway. In the audience joining us tonight is Cameron and Ava Wallace, the homeowners of 3 Crossway. And I'd just like to just do a quick pictorial tour of, actually, may I use the mic? It's hard. Thank you. I apologize. Hello? Hello? Yeah.
Here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Steve.
I'm glad you moved over. I was taking that personally.
So, what you see is the photos of the house and the neighborhood. 3 Crossway is the brick 1.5-story cape. As you can see, the driveway's on the right. There's a garage set back, a 2-car on a small side. There's a roof deck on top. And you can see the adjacent home to the right, and then the home across the street and the house to the left. And you see the other house down the street. So Crossway is a short street, only actually 3 homes on the street, and bookended by homes facing the other way. In the rear, or as you can see in the rear, this is the rear backyard as well. And then what's sort of unique of this property, when you face in the rear, there's no immediate home directly behind it. They're all off to the side, so you can see this open space that separates the homes because of the orientation. So it makes it for a nice situation that, our proposed expansion is not encroaching on the homes in the rear. And because of the short street, there's very few neighbors. So as you can see, that's the neighbor on the right-hand side. This is the side of the garage, and as you can see, the view, and this is the rear. So as you notice, the terrain drop falls in the rear, exposing the basement. So you have a 2.5-story currently shown. That's the second floor. So what we're proposing to do, and as you can see, from these photos, that second floor where all the bedrooms, they're very low ceiling and tight space. So that, really one of the reasons we're here, because we need more space. And it's something this board is here time after time. And unfortunately, creating the space requires a zoning variance. So before I get into the variance, I'll just briefly, this is the site plan The orange dash line represents the allowable building envelope. As you can see, the major, and this blue line represents the existing and the proposed footprint. And one of the variants that were here is caused because the house is not conforming. You can see the left side of the house is over the building envelope. And so that creates the need for a variance. As you can, the lightly green shaded is the proposed second floor addition over the existing house footprint. And the dark green is the actual expansion going forward and rearward, and we're replacing the wood deck in the rear. We're not expanding over the non-conforming section, so we're technically not going beyond, our proposed project is not going beyond the building envelope. We're contained with the building, inside the building envelope, but that still doesn't, we cannot avoid the variance because of the nonconformity of the existing house. So the four variances we're seeking, and I'll go back and is, one is a front height setback ratio, and I'll show the illustration. The other one is a side height setback ratio. These are all, again, governed by topography and distance from property lines to the home. And then the other one is the FAR, the maximum gross floor area. And the fourth is the total side yards. So I'll start with the total side yards because there, even though we're in conforming with the setbacks, so what we're proposing here is pretty much in the same spot as the existing garage. So we're not coming any closer to the neighbor on the right side. So we conform with the minimum setback, but the aggregate setback, because of this nonconformity, triggers a need for a variance. So, we need 40 feet, and we're actually at 33.1. So we need a 6.9 foot variance. I mean, that's a 17.3%. One can say that's a large variance, but technically it's what's existing right now. So the house, we're really essentially, I know the existing is 27, where are we? 33.3. And we're at 33.1, and we're essentially putting it in the same location, but because of the straightening out and somehow we lost a couple of inches in doing that. But essentially, we're in the same footprint, and so that, because of the non-conforming, we need a variance. So, that's
If it
how
wasn't for the existing non-conforming, how big is that? The existing on the left side? How big?
It's 17.1.
And it should
So
be?
then the total should be 40, right? So
Right. No, I understand that, but the point that's non-conforming on the left side, what is that now?
well, that should be 25 feet, so it's 7.9.
So it's 7.9.
0.9 here, but we're a foot in, hence 6.9. Right, so the distance from this blue line to the dash
Trying to
line,
get
that's
to
25
is,
feet.
if you need 40 total, and you're at
Correct.
30.1 or 33,
33.1.
is it all made up by what's on the other side? I mean, is all the,
It's all caused by this side,
Okay.
correct.
That's
We're
all I'm
we're
doing.
conforming here.
I see that, I just wanted
Yeah.
to hear the
We're
number.
at 16 feet, so the minimum
Yeah,
is 15. so-
okay, that's fine. I
We're
just wanted to hear the
actually,
numbers.
Yeah, yeah, that existing is causing, and
Okay.
for us to mitigate, we would have to cut almost 7 feet off the addition.
Right,
and fit
right.
it.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So it goes to one of the reasons, could it be done elsewhere? No, because part of the program, and I'll explain, is a two-car garage. So before I continue on the variances, let me give an overall on the house. And I just brought that one variance because, we're looking at the site plan. So what we're proposing is a second floor addition over the existing and a two-story addition. So, so this is the existing floor plan. This is the garage, see a setback. So what we're doing is pulling the garage because we need a kitchen and living space. They have 3 children, and you can see the bedrooms up above are severely, how should I say? Can't think of the word, but
Height limiting.
encumbered with
Height
slope-
limiting.
Yeah, slope.
I'm
So
6'5".
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you how many times I've hit my head on the door.
just to appreciate, see this double dash line that's parallel? That's the portion that's flat. This is all slope. And if you look at the photos, so, in order to expand this, and this is what drives the square footage. Now, the existing second floor comes all the way here. We're not expanding that. We pushed everything on this side to get away from the non-conforming side and kept it all here, and you'll see it. And so, as you could say, it looks like a lot, but it's not doable as far as, so here's the existing footprint, and this is the new section. We pulled the garage forward, and we added a kitchen and mudroom. And then we just reconfigured the interior to make it more usable for, a family room area and dining. Upstairs, we stayed away from that section and kept everything on this side and adding, as you can see, 3 bedrooms. The primary bedroom and 2 other bedrooms. Now, yes? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was a question, sorry, Paula. So, as you can see above, this is the current facade. I know this is not an aesthetics board, I'm just sort of giving the lay of the land. This area, we're maintaining the same height, the same roof line, keeping it out of the non-conforming section and putting a second story. We're not doing anything extraordinary. The second floor is only 8 foot high, so we're not putting 9-foot ceilings, 10-foot ceilings. It's an 8-foot ceiling over an 8-foot, typical 2-story addition. A home. So, and then the garage. Again, it's approximately the same width as the existing garage, but deeper to make it more functional. And we did a single-car garage door, but it's a 2-car garage. We brought it forward to free up the space in the back in order to fit in the kitchen. As you can see, this is the existing. We were matching the roof pitch, and so, which set the height. And in the back, this is the existing. And yes, when you add a second floor fully and you have a walkout basement, it does come out feeling large in the back, but it's just a 2-story house with a walkout basement. We actually meet building height, so we're not here for a variance for the building height, but the height setback ratios we are. So now I'm going to go to the other variance requirement, and so I'll go to height setback ratio diagrams. So, front elevation, right side elevation. The purple dot represents where we're in violation of the height setback ratio. So the side is a small variance, as you can see the difference. So the side variance is 0.03. So we have to be at 1.60, and we're at 1.63. It's almost a fudge factor. It's within but that's what it turns out to be. And that's and I reversed the roof line so we don't have any tall wall facing the neighbor. So I kept this minimum, and because of the grade that drops back, it lowers the point along the property line for that height setback ratio. So as you can see, the average grade is way down here. That's nothing you would appreciate from the front. So from the street level, there's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just when we travel to the rear, that's how we run afoul with the code, so we need a variance. But that variance turns out to 1.9%, so, you know, it's a small variance we're asking. The other one is the purple dot for the front setback. So there, we need 0.60, we're at 0.70. So we're at 0.10, and that turns out to be 16.7%. One can say, well, that's pretty significant, but I just want to point out that's just at the peak. It's right here. And I'm sure one could ask, can that be mitigated easily by clipping the peak? But as we know, there are so many homes that sort of, suffered at that fate where you have the clip corners, peaks all over. It tends to create if you drive down and you see that, they needed to comply with the zoning code, and they cut that. I've done that a couple times myself. I think on this one, I'm trying to avoid doing that, and fall into that category. Well, yeah, I cut the corner, and I met code, and I get rid of that variance. And, if you follow that line, this would get clipped. But aesthetically, again, this is not an aesthetic board, I think doing that and consistently doing that to avoid that creates, the wrong message, in as one of the things we need to consider for zoning, how it impacts on the characteristic of the neighborhood. And I think keeping the peak intact is more consistent with the neighborhood than a truncated peak. So again, that's the other variance. So we discussed 3 variances. And then the 4th variance, it's probably the larger of the group, is the gross floor area. And that speaks to the square footage of the house. So we're at 4,116, the proposed. Code permits 3,322. So, we're 794 square feet. We're at 23.9%. And yes, that's a large variance. But I can, my take on it is it's a contained square footage. It's not something that has a negative impact on the neighborhood because it's a contained square 2-story house that's not overrunning or impacting the neighbors is from our perspective, because I believe the board is in possession of 9 letters? Nine letters of the neighbors, all who've reviewed the plans and felt, were, fine with the proposed project, because I don't think we're doing anything out of character for the neighborhood and for the town, and for the village of Rybrook. So, again, that's a square footage. We followed within the footprint of the house with the slight expansion for the garage and the kitchen. And unfortunately, it brought us up to 41,116. But given the family the needs, and that's how we arrived at that square footage. And so that's the 4th variance, and hopefully the board sees that not such a big ask, but so. Any questions? From the
I've
board?
got a few, so
Of course.
let me just, when you showed the picture of the backyard,
The photo, yes,
those houses in the back
yes.
are on what street? Just for clarification.
Orchard and
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought, right.
That's-
Right. Now, are you going before the planning, or have you gone before the planning?
We had one meeting, we went already, we got a referral to come to you, and we're going back Thursday.
So they punted to us.
Yes, but
Okay.
I don't want to speak they didn't seem overly concerned. I
Yeah,
don't know if that
well,
means anything, but, you know.
well, we're separate entities.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, yeah.
So what were they interested in the planning? What was their concerns, and why were you before planning?
For site, because of, for the site engineering.
Based on what, water or anything?
Yes, water, yes.
Water issues?
Yes.
Okay,
And because of the grading of the property, you know.
okay.
But we're not altering anything much, because the planning didn't have any, yes, absolutely, yes.
Just
Here.
introduce,
Michael, you take the podium, all right.
Evening, gentlemen. Thank you. My name's Cameron Wallace. My wife, Ava Wallace. The planning, submitted our plans, I believe, to you, sir. Is that correct? And then you sent us to planning. $10,000 later, I had a civil engineer and a planning meeting, which, I don't think much came of it, apart from they sent us here today. And we're going back on Tuesday. Anyway, so myself and Ava have lived at Crossway since 2020. We shifted in January, just before COVID hit. We both work in healthcare. Since then, we had one child at that time. We now have 3 children, 8, 4, and 3. I have 2 other ones, so we have a total of 5 children, 2 in college. So the additions are for space. We have no immediate family that lives in the country. So we need to hire a babysitter, au pair, we've been using for the last few years, so that takes up a bedroom. I know it would be easier to go find a bigger house somewhere else. Last summer we had to come off the septic. That cost $50,000, and another story. But
it's not easy finding things in Rybrook, Dorchester. It's very difficult. For everybody, so-
well, my point is that we've lived here for 5 years, and we love our street, we love our neighborhood, we've made numerous friends, all young children, and I know it'd be easy to go and find somewhere else, but unfortunately, we like the neighborhood, we like our yard, we like our street, children always coming over and playing in the front. Rybrook, we both work in Greenwich, we like the community, the schooling system is very good. Do you have any questions? I have a lot of Halloween decorations.
I was going to ask, are you the house that scares the dickens out of my kids?
Probably.
And they're over like 20 now. I mean, they're like my oldest 35, and they still get scared.
Guilty.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have Halloween when I grew up, so I overindulge at this time. Yeah. No.
My other questions, by the way, it's Rybrook forever. You should use that phrase because it's very effective until the youngest kid hits 18.
Yeah.
Can I help if I put that on my boards?
You should put it.
Use that next time you see me.
Under your emails, put Rybrook forever. The other question has to do with the house on the right, which is substantially lower in grade.
Yes, it is.
And you're going up higher. And one of the things I noticed when I drove past it was that, but you don't capture the difference in grade when you're right there in front of the house. So by going up higher, it's exacerbating the difference between proximate houses. So that, your house,
I understand that's going to look a little big on that side. This house was recently purchased. It's still under hold by the building company that built it. So they've did a lot of work. I'm not sure they're flipping the house or anything at this time. But I've seen a couple of people in there coming and going, but I do not yet know. But what I can say, in the 5 years we have lived here, this on top has that black asphalt roof. It's a deck straight off our bedroom at the moment. It would be beautiful to use. In summer, it's not bearable. I painted it white with that Arctic paint. You can't go out there. So all the summer, it's just a boiling hot roof, and in my mind, it's a waste of space, unfortunately. That's why we're just trying to utilize that on top of it. And unfortunately, since our property is graded, I think it's 25 feet from the front to the back. Is that correct, Justin? I think roughly. And if it was flat, I'm sure it would be a different perspective. But as you can see the basement wherever it is on the side. You can't see.
We were sensitive to that, so we were not, ignoring that, and that's the reason why we turned the roof line in that orientation, because again, when you look at most of these homes, you end up with the gable roof, right? So if we pull this up 2 stories, that gable roof will exasperate that height, as you can see in the other homes. But what we did, unlike the other homes, we turned the roof line. We did that with the intent to minimize that height. So, I just want to go to that. So, instead of having this going vertical here, we actually turned it so the roof line works going away from the neighbor. And so what you're facing is just the 2-story wall of any 2-story house. So by rotating that, we minimize, the impact that if we had a gable wall, and that wall would have been extremely tall. So,
Well, when I noticed the 4 variances,
yeah.
one of the questions I always ask is this the smallest possible variance? And you kind of skated around that in your presentation, why you did what you did.
Right.
But when I took apart each of the variances and said, how can I knock this one down? And I realized I was dealing with a deck of cards, so that if I tweaked one, the other 3 would be negatively impacted. So you've created a design that has to have all 4 variances, or else the whole design falls apart. So that part I think I appreciate now. So I'd like you, for the viewing audience, one last time, to succinctly state why this is the smallest possible set of variances you need to meet the Wallace's needs.
Well, all right, so 3 of the 4 variances are sort of a matter of fact that it's based on what's existing. So the floor area is the one variance that's really based directly on the Wallace's need, as Mr. Wallace explained, with the need for the 5 children and the amount of bedrooms and the interior living space. Let's say, for example, we shrunk the square footage. It still doesn't change the height of the house. It's only an 8-foot second-floor ceiling. So this wall is no taller than any other 2-story wall. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that short of not building the addition, and that would eliminate valuable interior space that the Wallaces would need in order to continue to live at 3 Crossway. So pushing the square footage back a few and 2 doesn't remove any of the variances. This variance is created by average grade. So the only way to eliminate that is not to have a second floor addition. This one, we could architecturally, like I said, play around with the roof line where that really impacts the way you drive down the street. Does that make any difference? And then the setback is created by the non-conforming left side, which I can't do anything about. Otherwise, I can't work a garage in because that non-conforming exists now. So we're just continuing that non-conforming. So again, we're going back to the square footage, which is the living space. And that's the crux of why we're here and why the Wallaces are, actively pursuing expanding the house, because it's the much needed square footage they desire in order to have their growing family live on 3 Crossway and continue, Rybrook forever. So, I would, any modification adjustment is not going to eliminate any of the variances. That's the thing. So, and we can shade numbers and it becomes numbers on a piece of paper, but how does that impact the overall neighborhood? I would say very little, if anything. So, but it would impact more so on the occupants of 3 Crossway.
We go by the 5 factors.
Sure.
Okay, what happens to that house on the right is irrelevant to us making this decision tonight. Whether somebody, tears it down and puts a 5-story, a maximum height is irrelevant. So we're looking at this from the point of view of the 5 factors, and one of them is the smallest possible variance. And that's why I wanted you to address that explicitly, and I think you did. Thank you.
Steve, with the construction they're doing, then do they need a stormwater management plan? Are they moving
I
enough?
believe they're addressing that at the planning board.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I believe they're addressing that at the planning board.
Okay, because my concern is with the different pitch and the higher roof, where is that water going?
We have an engineer, and actually I have the engineer plans behind this board, if you're interested, but yes.
And that was the first thing addressed at the meeting
Yes.
last
Right.
month, and it was all within.
Okay.
That's their purview, and our
Just-
purview.
Yeah, if you're just interested, I
Just-
did bring it.
Just
Right.
before,
So we do have an engineer.
can I just say, Justin, just before we move on, gentlemen, also going against us is, this house is obviously 20 feet. It's beside me, but it's 20 feet down, flatter than, as you can see, level with my driveway there, so that obviously makes it even look bigger than anything, anything. It just makes the side of the house even look bigger than what it is. Due to
Those
their-
houses in that area are very, very different. In other words, some of them obviously have been expanded, others are still in their original footprint. So what you're doing is continuing the expansion of smaller homes to larger homes, which is happening all over Rybrook. So, you're not unique in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any, I see a tree, right? But where the height is gonna be of the house on the
This one?
top left, sorry.
Top left.
Top left.
Oh,
Yeah, is there anything else in between?
That tree is meant to come down by the town, but it hasn't as of yet. It's rotten.
Well, it happens on Saturdays all the time.
About 5 o'clock.
Right.
There's nothing else, no other,
we're not removing any trees.
No.
Not for the construction, no, not at all.
Nothing on my property that will give.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you have any questions?
No, everything's been addressed pretty thoroughly.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak in favor of the application besides the 8 or 9 letters that we received that were positive? The only thing I would comment on the letters is that the word modest, I think, was, they were, sort of engineered letters, form letters. But I would just say that,
Can I just say that they were given to someone else in the town that I know, from someone from the board member. They given it to him, and we just tweaked it a little bit
right.
to help us. Guilty.
Did you get any letter or anything from that neighbor on the right-hand side that's undergoing all sorts of
Nothing.
gyrations?
No, nothing.
No.
No, and,
But they've been noticed, so they have a right to
Absolutely,
say
yeah.
something.
250
Yeah.
feet radius would be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
everyone's been notified, yes.
Okay, so I want the record to reflect the letters, all positive, in support of the application. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak against the application? There being none and there being no letters, a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I want to run through the 5 factors with you.
And you'll address the letters, you'll reference them, but you will not read them?
I read them. No, I'm not going to
I don't
read
need to
all
read
of
it.
them. It's a form letter, so you
Right,
just
yeah.
have to read one. Yeah, so, what about the impact on the character of the neighborhood? Right now, it's mixed, but
I don't think so.
will not affect the character. Are you convinced the benefits the applicant seeks cannot be achieved through another method feasible for the application?
Yes.
Okay. The requested variances, I'm going to say, are substantial?
Yes.
Collectively? The requested variances will not create any adverse impacts to the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood once the planning board gets through with what they have to do. Right? Okay? And the need for the variances are self-created. Okay, comfortable with that?
Yep.
Okay. Let me read the resolution. Whereas an application has been made to the Zoning Board of Appeals by Ava Wallace, the applicant, for 4 area variances in connection with the proposed 2-story addition, second floor addition, new front porch, wood deck, side work, and interior alterations on property located at 3 Crossway in an R15 zoning district on the north side of Crossway, approximately 90 feet from the intersection of Old Orchard Road and Crossway. Said premises being known and designated on the tax map of the Village of Rybrook as parcel ID 135.26-1-55. Whereas the applicant seeks relief from the following requirements of the Rybrook zoning code. 1. Section 250-20, Section I, Item 1, the maximum allowable front height setback ratio is 0.60. The applicant's proposed additions will result in a front height setback ratio of 0.70, thereby requiring a variance of 0.10 or 16.17%. Secondly, Section 250-20, Section I, Item 2. The maximum allowable side height setback ratio is 1.60. The applicant's proposed additions will result in a side height setback ratio of 1.63, thereby requiring a variance of 0.03 or 1.9%. Third variance, Section 250-20, Part E. The maximum allowable gross floor area is 3,322 square feet. The applicant's proposed additions will result in a gross floor area of 4,116 square feet, thereby requiring a variance of 794 square feet, a 23.9% variance. Variance 4, Section 250-20, Part G, Item 2. The minimum required total of 2 side yard setbacks is 40 feet. The applicant's proposed additions will result in a total of 2 side yard setbacks of 33.10 feet, thereby requiring a variance of 6.9 feet or 17.3%. Whereas a duly advertised public hearing was opened and closed on April 7th, 2026, at which time all those in attendance wishing to be heard were given such opportunity. Whereas the proposed action is a Type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Whereas the board, from the application and the record before it, after viewing the premises and neighborhood concerned, hearing from the applicant, and upon considering each of the factors set forth at Section 250, Item 13, Section G, Part 2, Items 2A through E of the Rybrook Code, finds the 5 things that I said before, and I'll jump right to the requested variance will not create any adverse, now therefore be it resolved that said application is hereby provisionally granted until we vote on the following conditions. No permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued until the applicants have paid in full all application and consultant fees incurred by the village in connection with the review of this application. Okay, are we comfortable with that? Okay, Steve?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Don? Yes. Okay, application approved, 5 yeses, 0 nays.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
everyone, for your time.
And thank you, Justin, for doing such a good job.
Good luck in planning.
Looking forward to next.
By the way, Mrs. Wallace, that's on tape, so without, I'll show it to you in
5 years.
5 years. Okay,
you.
congratulations. Christian,
Have a good evening, everyone.
take care.
Thank you.
The last item on the agenda is the approval of the summary. You comfortable with that?
I wasn't at the last meeting.
Neither was I, so I recuse, I'm staying.
Okay, 3 of us, okay, the summary is approved. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, seconded. Okay, meeting is adjourned.
What's on for next month, Steve?
Steve, anything?